Welcome to the Bull and Thread Mini Puzzle Challenge number 2. Puzzle number 1 is a classic riddle. Puzzle number 2, I thought we would go into a different form here with a poem. So each week with the mini puzzle challenges, we explore a different kind of clue that you might find in an alternate reality game or a treasure hunt or some other game-based environment. There are riddles and poems and ciphers, but there are many other clue types that we'll begin to unfold and look at to sort of refine our skills as treasure hunters and as treasure designers. And I hope it will be fun, but again, this is also a little bit of training for us as designers and hunters. This week's puzzle, I decided to theme around a quote, one of the more meaningful quotes to me. It's actually a verse from the Bible, from the New Testament, John chapter 15, verse 13, from the World English Bible Translation, which is public domain, just to make sure that I have no copyright issues. And here's how the quote goes: "Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends." So that's the theme for this puzzle. This is kind of a special treasure hunt, one where all clues are bound inside a single clue object, what I sometimes refer to as a clue object. Now, there are two main types of treasure hunts that are out there. There's the clue chain treasure hunt design, where you get a clue, and that leads you to another clue, and that leads you to another clue. Think of the movie National Treasure for a classic example of a clue chain treasure hunt. And then there's also a single clue object treasure hunt. And this could be a map where all of the core clues necessary in order to find your way to the treasure are located within that map. It could be a book where all the clues are bound in there, or it could be, as is the case with this mini puzzle challenge today, could be a poem. Now, to say that all of the clues are bound does not necessarily mean that you need nothing but what's there in order to get to the treasure. You do need often context, background knowledge, experience, inside understanding, maybe boots on the ground trying things out in some cases, although none of my mini puzzle challenges here are requiring you to go boots on the ground so far, up to this one. So what I mean by this, though, is that all of the clues are bound within the poem, but you will need to do some research. Unless you're like a walking encyclopedia and have far more historic knowledge and information, or you happen to know about this specific person that is sort of at the center of this poem, you're going to have to do a little bit of research. And the other thing that I'll say is I'll give you a little bit more of a clue, just because this is a learning ground, is the poem is divided into 5 stanzas. I will read one stanza at a time, but I'll put the whole poem and drop it into the description for you to look at. And there is a method to the order. So think of this as there's a logical reason why what's in stanza 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's taking you in a way, metaphorically, or maybe even literally in some cases, taking you closer to the treasure. And the treasure is an actual physical item or object in the world that's not buried, but it'd be visible to anyone who makes it to this place, and so you'll be able to find it just by doing online internet search and the like. So within this poem, it's all bound around the theme that I described, and you will be introduced to a person, and then you'll be challenged to think about a place, and then zoom in even more in place, and ultimately to a thing or an object that's meaningful and meaning-rich and ties into the theme. So I'll say no more than that. Now, oftentimes with treasure hunts, they don't give you that much background information, but I thought it would be good since we're practicing together. So here we go. I'm going to read the poem to you, but you can also check it out in the description. When bullets flew and brothers dropped in flame, one stayed behind while others fled the line. He bore no rifle, cried no curse or blame, but chose to kneel when wounded men would die. Greater love was more than words he spoke. Stanza 2. He carried soldiers from the line of fire, then smuggled food and hope through frozen wire. In Pyeongtaung's camp, he shared his final breath, a soul who stole from guards, then starved to death. The medal came long after he was gone. The third stanza. He came from towns where wheat and mission meet, where homesteads hum beneath the steeple's ring, among the fields where prayer and plow compete. He learned to serve before he learned to sing. His roots run deep in sunflower plains of dust. The fourth stanza. Where prairie winds and memory converge, now lifts in bronze the story he became. Behind a flame that never fades or dies, he bears no arms but carries still a name. The faithful pass him in the evening light. And then the fifth stanza. You'll find him near a river's quiet bend, where paths of stone recall both loss and grace, a silent cross still raised above a friend, the bronze outstretched to bless this sacred place. Look close, the war, the year, the hollow eyes. A little bit of a somber poem, but within that are the clues to a person, a place, and a thing that has meaning and ties to the theme. Enjoy your treasure hunting journey. I look forward to your comments where you can try to offer your solves and maybe interact with other people who are trying to figure this out. And once more, eventually, once it seems as if this puzzle has run its course, I will drop in the solve myself in the comment area and the description. Of course, you can keep exploring this as long as you want, even if you're watching this video well after the solve is created. Just don't look, and you can try to figure it out yourself, and then eventually you can peek and see if you got it figured out. Enjoy.